What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel with your host that does the absolute most spiritual intellectual 777 here once again, coming at you guys from the House of Greatness. And in today's video, what I'm going to discuss with you guys is the dark side of the spiritual path. And basically, people just think that the spiritual path is all hunky-dory, all love and light, and all this good stuff, right? Where you start manifesting at light speed. You know, you're happy 24/7, you're feeling joyful, your chakras are all aligned, all that good stuff, right? But the matter of the fact is that is just partially the truth. I didn't say that it's not true. I said it is partially the truth. And the reason I say that is because you're usually going to you will go through a dark night of the soul. You see what I'm saying? Enlightenment is actually the destruction of all of the illusions that we're accustomed to, right? Like school, religion, family and friend expectations, 9-to-5 job, etc., etc., etc. You guys know what I mean. And so what usually triggers, spiritual awakening in general is some sort of traumatic life event, right? Like you may have gotten into a car accident and you quote unquote died, but in reality, you're having an out-of-body experience where you may be looking at your body from above, right? There's many people who have told stories about them having out-of-body experiences. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first dark night of the soul symptom is an ego death, right? And basically what an ego death is the falling away of the false identity that you've been holding on to all of this time, right? And during this phase of your dark night of the soul, your ego is going to fight tooth and freaking nail to hold on to that identity. And just FYI, the ego doesn't care what identity it latches onto, as long as it has an identity to latch onto nonetheless, because the ego wants to stay relevant in whichever identity it chooses to identify with. And when you go through the dark night of the soul, this identity is going to fall away, so to speak. And speaking of the identity falling away, I recorded a podcast episode where I talk about this. And if you want more in-depth information about my story about the identity, that's fallen off or that fell off, the link to that podcast episode will be in the description below for you guys to go listen to my story. But anyways, the false identity is going to fall off nonetheless, whether you choose for it to or the universe does it literally by force. It's going to happen either way, whether you like it or not. So you might as well take the initiative at first and jumpstart the process and deliberately letting go of your identity, rather than the universe stepping in and giving you a tower moment to where you pretty much have no choice but to let it go. Another thing that I want to talk about before I forget is that, the ego death is your rite of passage, so to speak, when you're going through your spiritual awakening. So before you can get to all the quote unquote good stuff about spiritual awakening, like experiencing bliss and lots of happiness and positivity and manifesting at light speed and having all your chakras aligned, you have to go through that ego death. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This must happen so that you can get highly connected to your higher self, so to speak. And with that being said, we are going to move on to the next point. So the second symptom of the dark night of the soul phase is that you feel alone. And this is a common theme amongst people who have spiritually woken up. You know what I'm saying? Is that you feel this great sense of aloneness. And that is because your perception of reality is changing. And as your perception of reality changes, your family and friends are going to look at you crazy like, what are you talking about? Spiritual awakening and chakras and law of attraction and manifestation. Are you high? It's just like your family and friends would just look at you weird simply because of the fact that, you're seeing past this illusionary reality. You're seeing the illusions for what they are instead of being caught up in them like you used to. And you are going to lose friends, guys. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? A OG once told me that, people are like a rotating door. They come in and out, and 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 in and out. And you're going to find this happening to you no, I'm not going to say happening to you because that implies you're a victim. This is happening for you because the universe is clearing space for people who actually do align with your new vibrational frequency. So let's say, for instance, you used to be, a heavy partier and a drinker, right? You used to go hit the bars up every weekend. You go clubbing with your friends. You're pretty much just turning up every weekend and whatnot, getting lit. And then all of a sudden, you have a spiritual awakening, which caused you to not want to indulge in partying or drinking anymore. So you give up the drinking, you give up the partying. You know what I mean? And then when your friends ask you to go to the club with them, you're just sitting there like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay in and read a book, or I'm gonna stay in and meditate, or I'm gonna go ahead and go hang with my significant other. You know what I mean? Or you may just choose to simply hang by yourself, which is nothing wrong with that, because I've been doing a lot of that lately, which is just hanging with myself, because as I've spiritually evolved and grown, I've learned to become accustomed to my own company more. So now, now as opposed to then, I am extremely picky with who I hang out with and what I do with my time, because I know that I only get a finite amount of time while I'm in this human form, right? And so, as opposed to then, I would just hang out with anybody just to hang out. I was desperate for anybody to be my friend. And that's because, I didn't feel whole within myself. But obviously I'm in a better headspace. But to go back to the example I was talking about, your friends that you used to party and drink with are going to look at you all sorts of weird, like you're an alien from another planet. But the fact of the matter is, you are going to outgrow people on your path. And this is a natural thing. There's nothing right or wrong about it. There's nothing personal. It just is what it is, and that's, the cycles of life, is that everything, keeps on expanding and growing, and change is the constant part of life. But however, if you choose to fight this change that you're going through at this moment of time, then you're only bringing in more pain, more hardship, and more heartache, which is very unnecessary, because you don't need to go through a whole bunch of pain in order to wake up spiritually. But for the most part, people do go through pain simply because, they refuse to let go of what's no longer serving them. And, during this phase, ironically, you discovered that you're not as alone as you thought you were, because you start strengthening your connection with the divine or God or universe, whatever you're comfortable calling, the great I am, Krishna, whatever you're comfortable calling this supreme being that's within all of us. You just feel this deep sense of connection to it, because you're now putting in the work to connect through it, through prayer, meditation, affirmations, intention setting, all of that good stuff. And because of this, you let go of these attachments to people, right? And you start becoming less and less codependent on other people, because, you're not on that vibrational frequency of lack anymore. You're in that vibration of abundance now. So again, if you're feeling alone right now, just know that this is a natural part of your spiritual awakening. And I've been through it, and numerous of other folks have been through it, just like you are, so you're not alone. All right, let's move on to the next point. So another symptom of the dark night of the soul is you coming face to face with your shadow side, right? Hence the name Dark Night of the Soul. You are having to face your shadow side, which is all the repressed aspects within yourself that you've disowned because you wanted approval from your family and your friends and society and whatnot. And your shadow side is hidden in your subconscious mind, so just know that as well. And your shadow side forms in your subconscious mind and is composed of repressed ideas, instincts, desires, impulses, weaknesses, perversions, and embarrassing fears, right? You know what I'm saying? That fetish that you're scared telling people about, and most of all, you're scared of admitting yourself that you have, and you're also scared of telling people like what your dreams are, or show anybody those personality traits that you've kind of just suppressed so much inside of your subconscious mind that you start enacting it in subtle subconscious ways, because it's gonna come out one way or another. So you might as well start digging deep inside of your subconscious mind and integrating those shadow aspects with those light aspects you like to show off to the world, so that you can become whole within yourself. And this persona that you're showing people is considered good and lovable, so you continue to show that side of yourself to people, while, like I said, while you keep all of those other personality traits suppressed. And the word persona means mask in Latin. So literally, you're wearing a mask to cover up who you truly are. But when you go through the dark night of the soul, you're forced to confront yourself. And so you can no longer wear the mask, and now you're being forced to step into your authenticity and to integrate your shadow side with your light. And the repression of these negative traits is only doing more damage than good, because it's causing a split within your consciousness. And now you're just walking around, you're just walking around with a fragment of yourself instead of being whole, right? And so another thing that I wanted to discuss was, spiritual and religious groups have contributed to the repression of the shadow side, because they keep pushing this love and light new age agenda, which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with love and light, because obviously we need more love and more light in the world. But you cannot consider yourself spiritually awakened or spiritually evolved if you haven't yet faced your shadow side and integrated it with your light side, so that you could become whole. I mean, look at the yin and yang symbol. There's a light within the dark, and there's dark within the light. And so therefore, in order for us to be truly whole spiritual beings, and for us to live up to our full potential, we have to integrate the dark with the light, and then show others how to do that as well, right? And so this, in you continuing to repress your shadow side is a form of spiritual bypassing, which means you are using spirituality to literally avoid everything uncomfortable within you, instead of having the courage and the honesty to face those aspects of yourself, right? And so, speaking of that, I did an Instagram post about called the God and the Devil's Within You, or whatever I said. And I'll leave a link to that post in the description as well, which is a prelude to this video, by the way. So that's the reason why I did that post. But anyways, you guys, you just have to stop using spirituality to escape from those uncomfortable feelings that you're scared to confront within yourself. And I'm here to let you know that everything's going to be all right. I'm rooting for you. All right? So, moving on to the next point. So, the fourth symptom of the dark night of the soul is that you realize that you create your own reality, right? And so basically with you doing all of this inner work, by, letting your ego die, and, you've spending a lot of time alone and strengthening your connection with God or the universe or your higher self, whatever you want to call it. And integrating that shadow side within yourself, that's all helping you to realize that you create your own reality. And you're faced all in all with the fact that you can't keep lying to yourself anymore, because your eyes have literally been pried open to look at the truth of the matter. And the matter of the fact is that you create your own reality, and that reality is but an illusion, right? And and so therefore you acknowledge that you are as free as you want to be, and that also that the meaning of life is whatever you give it, right? And so pretty much you're the hero of your own story. And so therefore, you get to choose to at any time to stop writing the victim story and decide to just completely scrap it once and for all, and start writing a story where you're the hero, where you're taking initiative, you're going after your dreams and goals and aspirations, you're starting to love yourself more, you're starting to cut away what no longer serves you, you're starting to rise into your power more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing about going through the dark night of the soul, is it turns you from a disempowered being to an empowered being, where you're taking full control and ownership of what you're attracting into your own personal world, right? If you've been attracting chaos for most of your life, the dark night of the soul is going to teach you that you can at any time snip it in the bud and start attracting more and more of what you do want. But first, you have to shed away all of the dead weight, so to speak. You gotta get rid of them friends that weren't doing anything for you. You gotta get rid of them habits that aren't doing anything for you either. You gotta get rid of these thought patterns that keep running amok in your head over and over and over again, that's not really doing anything but causing more pain and heartache in your reality, and is causing you to overthink. And also what I want to cover in this point is that you can no longer blame others for the reason why your life is the way it is, because you just have to start taking more and more control and responsibility for your life. That's the only way that you're going to change anything in your reality, is the moment you start taking full responsibility. Because as long as you keep playing the blame game and acting as if it's somebody else's fault for the reason why you're not where you want to be, for why you're not where you want to be, then you're going to continue to create situations to where, that perception literally rings true for you. So you're pretty much creating that self-fulfilling prophecy within yourself by continuously saying that, so and so is the reason why I'm not where I want to be. And so therefore, the scenario where that person keeps controlling you is going to keep happening, and that person is going to appear like they're in control of your destiny, because you've given away your power completely to that other person, right? And with you realizing that you can't blame other people, you also realize that your freedom is in your own hands, But the thing is, freedom is not free nor given, and it requires, great effort, dedication, courage, and determination to not only acquire, but to also maintain. Because you're going to be faced with a whole lot of opposition that's going to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that, don't follow your dreams, don't go after what you want, you're on some demonic stuff because you're trying to learn how to manifest in this, that, and the third, and blah 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 blah. And most of the time it'll be your family members that attack you the most, and so therefore they're gonna try to hold you back as much as they can if they're not spiritually awakened themselves. And this is very, very, very common amongst most spiritually awakened people. And so chances are you've probably gotten into an argument or two with your mama or your daddy or whoever in your family because they simply do not understand, and they cannot comprehend this new frequency that you're on, and they're not supposed to, because it's not their journey. It is your journey and your journey only. Remember that, guys. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? You can't rely on other people to free you but yourself. You're the only one that can free yourself from the slave plant. Blah, blah, blah. You are the only one that can free yourself from the slave plantation. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. It's just how it is. You're the only one that can free yourself. You know what I'm saying? And yes, you are going to go through great opposition as you're going through your spiritual awakening. But don't give up. Just keep on going. Just stick with the process and just know and have faith that everything's going to be all right and that you're always taken care of. You know? And the freedom that you experience in the long term is going to far outweigh any pain that you're going through right now. Trust me, guys. You know, you may not be in your winning season yet, but just trust me, you will get there if you stick with the process and you continue to have faith in God / the universe / your higher self / Krishna, that everything's going to work out with your highest good. And I also want to speak on the death of my Aunt Sue before I go ahead and wrap up this video. Is that, you know, with her death, alongside with the other deaths in my family that's happened within this decade, and they've been pretty damn close, if I do say so myself, like, golly, they all have one thing in common, is that many of them did not have the balls or the courage to step away from the dysfunction within the family and to actually follow their dreams and goals. And I told myself, like, I'm not going down like that. I'm not going down. I'm not going out like that, man. I made a promise to myself that I'm going to tell the truth and not sugarcoat it, and that I'm going to achieve my dreams. You know, and yes, I've had some doubts and I've held myself back in a lot of ways, but the matter of the fact is I still held on to that belief and saying within myself that my dreams will come true and I am going to fulfill my purpose. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's just that dedication. And I decided to become the black sheep and to step away from the mold and to start being brave on my own. And a large part of that is, you know, in part to my significant other and helping me develop that courage within myself to stand up for what I believe in and to never cower down and to become a more empowered spiritual being rather than just being a passive soul that's just wandering about in this reality, you know, playing victim and whatnot. And so with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I would like to thank you guys for tuning in to this message on today, right? And if you're brand spanking new to my channel, I want to first and foremost welcome you with open arms and tell you that I love you and I care about you, and I'm glad that you've taken the time to start investing in yourself and in your growth. And if you've enjoyed the content thus far, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button, and once you do, make sure to click that bell and turn it from personalized to all so that you get notified every single Friday that I upload videos to this channel. And I upload videos every single Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and you're gonna have to calculate, you know, what time that is depending on the time zone and country that you're living in. And if you guys are supporters of the 8 Mil Productions brand, make sure to go ahead and click the link below to my merch store to go ahead and cop you some merch if you haven't done so already. And also make sure to smash the hell out of that like button, share this video with your friends and fam and all your social media platforms, and make sure to timestamp your favorite part in the video in the comment section below. And if you want to know what gear that I used to make this particular YouTube video, the Amazon links will be in the description below. And just keep in mind that these are affiliate links, so if you buy anything off of those links, I get a 10% commission, just keeping it 100. And if you want to donate to the channel, the link to that is also in the description as well. All right, and make sure to go peep my 8 Mil Productions podcast. All right, so with that being said, peace in and out with the highest vibes, and I'll see you guys next Friday.